So, how has the insurance sector changed over the years, at least since the time you joined it?
So, insurance sector, one very big defining moment. Obviously, there was COVID in between.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, COVID had a lot of impact in the way the industry behaved and in the way the consumers interacted with the industry. So, insurance and especially life insurance has always been a push product. Always, nobody wants to buy an insurance. मतलब you don't get up in the morning and says I want to buy life insurance today. वो कभी नहीं होता है. It has always consumers need to be made aware of the need of the product, and you have to really focus on following up with the customer to convert a customer. So it has always been a push product. What happened was, because of COVID, this push got converted into some bit of pull. Some bit of pull. And the reason I'm saying is it got converted into some bit of pull is consumers started to realize we humans we realize how vulnerable we are. And whenever the sense of vulnerability increases now, our action to cover that vulnerability or to hedge ourselves that vulnerability, that action bias also goes up. And therefore, in order to cover ourselves against this vulnerability of that I'm not safe, the insurance get converted into pull. But what has happened was, while we feel we are vulnerable, we also don't learn from most of the time. We don't learn from our past, or we forget the past very quickly. And now we are back to where we were. We are back to people, what we call as now revenge travel, revenge shopping. Nothing wrong in that. Yes, you should enjoy your life, you should this thing. But what we are also back to is we are back to procrastination in life insurance. We are back to thinking that मेरे पास है, and we are back to thinking कि मुझे कुछ नहीं होगा. That feeling of vulnerability is getting now gradually converted into feeling of invincibility वापस, which used to be earlier. So that thing. Oh no, we are still back to that where you have to convince still. So typically we say in insurance that you have to knock on 10 doors before one door opens. And for every 10 door that open, you probably will get one sale. So it's 1 in 100 kind of a thing that. So that ratio more or less is still the same. So that doesn't change. What has changed is the awareness has been there now. The awareness is extremely high, and which is a good step for the industry because it is always a journey. For awareness to move into action, it's a journey. So high level of awareness is there. That awareness is immediately converting into action, not right now. So at least conversations are happening, and that is a good point for the industry. The third, which is not to do much with customers, as is see, insurance is heavily dependent upon distributors. Heavily dependent. I'll give you a data of all the insurance, life insurance sales in the country. 85 to 90% happens when a distributor is in between. So that means only close to 10% sales are happening when the consumer is buying directly from the insurer. In 90% of the sales, there is an intermediary in between. This intermediary could be an individual insurance agent, it could be a corporate broker, it could be a bank RM, it could be a telecaller from aggregators like Policybazaar or anybody. But there's always an intermediary in between. So, and if you remember, if you just remove the telecallers aside, these intermediaries have been selling insurance for long. Insurance is more than 100 years old. They have been selling by meeting customers face to face. उसके अलावा कोई और तरीका आता ही नहीं था किसी को. Nobody knew any other way to sell insurance, which is go meet the customer, understand the needs, suggest a solution, and then close the sale. That was the process. Suddenly, overnight, the physical meetings or face-to-face meetings were not happening. The change that we have seen is the rapid pace at which the distributors have embraced the technology. While yes, I give a lot of credit to insurers also, because insurers created that platforms, that entire tools that were given to distributors. Insurers can only create those tools. Adopting those tools means changing the behavior, changing the habits, which is not easy. But distributors have really embraced the technology, and that I believe is a big change. And that change is not like the first change that I was referring to, now we are back to square one. No. It's a change which is irreversible. The distributors have realized how tech can make the process much more seamless and much more hassle free, much more faster, quicker, and better for them as well as their consumers. So now they are very okay in looking at newer technologies that are coming, newer ways of selling, newer ways of interacting with the customers. That has been a very positive moment for the industry.